Okay, so folks, today we are here at the Randolph Arts Guild and we are bringing you this video in October, right at the beginning of fall. So here in front of you we have Dawn Tagawa, and Dawn is a very talented potter from here in Asheboro, and she's going to lead you through this wonderful class to make beautiful luminaries. Dawn, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, I have been a potter for about 15 years, working with clay that I get from Starworks Ceramics, some of it being local and then some of it being sourced from high water clay in Asheville. And one of my favorite tools right here is this number 11 X-Acto blade. It's what I use to do all the carvings in the clay, and it's also what we're going to be using to do carvings in this pumpkin, along with this nice Kemper tool knife. But then also some of the things that I have too are just your basic, kitchen knife. Nice little, this was I think 99 cents at a drugstore right here. And these tools that I'm using that are clay specific, I got at Starworks Ceramics down in Star. Right here, these two right here are hole punches. They come in super handy. The hole punches are where we started the base of the flower, and they come in all different sizes. And then let's see, I'm also using these metal, it's pretty much a metal loop right here. It's a metal tool, so that's what we're gonna start with the stems, and it's in this little triangle shape. Let's see. And then here is just a little handheld drill that you can use to do some of your beginning circles and stuff like that with. And then also these handy dandy measuring cups. This is a metal measuring cup, which I just pulled out of the kitchen drawer. And what we did for this one is just went in there, scooped obviously all the guts out, but then we thinned down the walls extremely. We probably thinned them down by half. So that made it a lot easier to carve this surface, stuff like that. Hey, so another thing is if you don't happen to have a metal measuring cup, you could also use an ice cream scoop, and then the plastic ones would probably work just great too, just to go in there and get the meat out of the pumpkin. Okay, so for this, obviously we have a nice thick pumpkin, and what I'm gonna do is take these right here and make the walls super thin. So I'm gonna basically use this as a scoop. So it's just a little 1 cup measuring cup. That's one of the tools I'm gonna use, hopefully. Try to use things that people can find in their kitchen easily. Knife. And then I have another knife right here. And then these tools come in really handy. They're pretty much like a hole punch. You can buy these at Hobby Lobby for pretty inexpensive. I think there's a pack for $10 to $12, like this, or a drill with a drill bit. Well, it does nicely for some of your holes and this to start some of your designs and stuff like that too. I have this little knife right here that I got, I think, from Walgreens for $1. So I'm gonna go ahead and get all those seeds off. And then start scooping out my pumpkin with my measuring cup. It's a metal measuring cup, so it has a nice firm side to get this stuff out. Okay, so I have gotten all the gunk out, and in order to carve some of these designs, it's easier to thin down the inside of the pumpkin. So that's what I'm using this for. So I can get the walls a lot thinner, so it's easier to carve. Save my fingers when carving. So, and I'm only gonna do the side of the pumpkin that we're gonna put the design on and try to get those walls thinned down. So just like kind of the ice cream scoop, scooping it out of there. So there's all this right here. And even more, we're gonna get a lot out of there. I'm probably gonna try to take the walls down from an inch thick to less than half of an inch thick. Okay, so, all right, so I'm still carving down the inside of this, but to give you a little bit of the background, of my personal background, I did a lot of work down in Seagrove. Actually, I worked down there for probably about 10 years. Let's see. And I went to school at RCC for advertising and graphic design, which is completely different than not completely different, but different than pottery. And I took some classes up at the Cultural Center in Greensboro for a couple semesters there. And right now, currently, I just have like a spare room in my garage at home that I'm working in. Let's see where our thickness is. All right, I'm gonna keep going. Okay, so this right here is a banding wheel that I use all the time in pottery. So when I'm carving, I can put a piece up. We'll use the pumpkin, for example. And then it makes it easier for me to carve whatever side that I'm working on. And then if I'm glazing a piece of pottery, I spray my glazes with the air compressor, so I can put it on there and just spray away like that. So these come in super handy. Okay, I'm gonna start carving the pumpkin, and I'm gonna do a pattern like the green leaves luminary that's on the table. So when I start out with that design, I usually start with your basic 2 stems that come in to form the branch. So right here, this is just, it's like a loop tool, but it's in the shape of a triangle, and it's made out of metal, so it gives you a nice, strong line. And if you mess up, don't worry about it. So we'll go in there and kind of make a Y shape. And then from there, I go in and just pull a few branches in. And this will just give you your basic outline for the leaves. And go to the other side and do the same thing. And keep in mind that I have carved the inside down relatively thin. It's about that thin. So when you put the candle in at night, these things will come through pretty nice. All right, so that's the start. I'm sure, I know you can get these X-Acto knives at Walmart, I think for about $3. and it's the number 11 blade for the X-Acto knife is the one I'm using. They've got different kinds, but this one's the number 11, kind of with the triangle point. All right. And then two, Hobby Lobby also sells, or whatever craft store sells stencils that have the leaf pattern in them too, and that's always an option. So right now what I'm doing is I'm going back through and I'm carving more. I'm gonna carve a leaf to accompany each leaf that's already carved, and then we'll go from there. And so that one looks a little odd, so I'll just go back in, kind of give it a little bit more of a curve. All right. Get a pumpkin in my hair. Okay. So generally what I do when I'm carving a luminary like this, with the leaf pattern in particular, is after I carve the initial branches on it and put my end leaves on it, then I go back in, and if there's space, I try to carve, so I have sections of 3. So I'll go back and carve 3 here, 3 here, 3 here, and then on and on. And then I'll fill in the leaves from there for the design. So sometimes too, I've noticed, and I'm sure that you probably, just from carving pumpkins, that sometimes it's easier to kind of perforate a few times as you go, and then go back a second and third time to get the chunks out in between those perforations. And that's what I do when I'm carving pottery. A lot of times I'll carve and I'll get a chunk of clay out and I'll just toss it in the middle, so I don't make a mess all over everything, and then at the end I'll just dump it out, put it in a clay bucket. And this pencil grip on here is a lifesaver for your fingers, in my opinion.
Oh, because of the wide bend of it?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I see.
Because otherwise I'll get that nice knot on my finger.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
You can get those like at the like at Staples or Walmart.
Yes,
Supplies.
yes. I stole these from my son. He didn't want the pink one. All right.
I remember my son using those when he was learning how to write.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a whole, a drawer full. Miss it. For the lower part.
Can you hold that pencil quickly?
Do what's up?
Can you hold that up?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so my number 11 blade with the X-Acto and this awesome pencil grip that helps my fingers. All right, where was it? So this leaf at the bottom is going to be extra long, but that's okay. So one of the things I'm doing is you can tell that I'm only carving into the actual first stem on the first initial leaves, because I'll go back with this tool later and fill in the stems from the leaf right there to kind of give it a more flowy, natural look, I guess. All right. Sorry about the mess. Okay. All right, so then now that I've got kind of all the sections of 3, I'll go back in and fill some in along here, wherever there's space available. All right, so we'll start with this one right here. And there's no real rhyme or reason to where I put the leaves, it's just very arbitrary. So that way all of them look different. All of them end up being different when they're done. Yeah, and too, like if you wanted to add in another little branch down here or down here, if you wanted to. If you wanted to add in some little flowers here and there, you could do that too. Let's see. Okay, so I finished carving all the leaves, and next thing I'm gonna do is go in with the triangle loop tool right here and finish filling in from leaf to stem. So like I said earlier, we thinned out the pumpkin just to make it a little easier to carve with this to make the walls probably about half as thin. And I really could have gone in and made them a lot thinner. I think it would have made it easier. So in mid carving, like with this one that we already did, I did it mid carving. Like it was still a little too thick. So I went in even after I had half of the design done and still carved out more, and it didn't affect the integrity of it at all. So I'm gonna go ahead and start pulling the stems in from the leaves. So just go from the tip, and like I said, if you feel like you do something and it's not right, it really doesn't matter at all, because you can always go in and do whatever, and branches are never perfect anyways. So, all right. And some of them will be shorter and longer. Sometimes I try to go down like a little bit at an angle and curve it in.
How will the light shine through that?
Yeah, it'll be beautiful at night. And the light, since we thinned it down so much, the light will shine through all those every little vein that we carve, all the little stems. And honestly, it's a lot easier to carve clay than it is to do pumpkins. But this is a lot of fun. And it's something different than your basic, which is what I usually do, your basic triangle and mouth, scary mouth. So there's that right there. Okay, so we're finished with this design, but I am gonna add a little flower right down here, just because I mentioned it earlier in the video of just, adding things, making it your own. But I wanted to mention this again because these tools right here are super awesome, and they're just hole punches. They come in lots of different sizes, more than just these two here. And I know that you can get them at Star Works down in Star, North Carolina. Their gallery, I know they have a little pottery, like the different types of clay, a little museum. I'm not sure what all is open, but I'm sure that the store is open at least by appointment right now. And they have banding wheels, they have all these fun little tools. They have they probably have these, the Kemper knife, and then your little loop tool. All right, so we're gonna I'm gonna start with the smaller hole punch, and just come right down here and make the center piece for the flower. So let's see, yep, that popped out pretty easy right there. And then I'll just make a little five petal flower. So I'll just make 5 more little hole punches around it.
You could use a drill as well.
Yes. If I could have found drill bits last night, I would have been using the drill for sure. And this is like a little handheld pottery tool, and you can see it kind of has a little drill bit, and I got that at Star Works too. And so a lot of times, when I'm doing a smaller flower, I can use this right here as the start, the beginning to the leaf. But for this one, for this pumpkin, I'm just gonna go ahead and keep using the hole punch right here. All right. Let's see. So we're doing a core sample for the pumpkin.
That's fun.
Yeah. All right. So that right there is about as thick as it is. Right there. It's thicker, obviously, in some areas, but. All right, so then we have the basic shape, little design to start, and then we'll pull it out from there to make your petals. And so there's your basic flower. And that's how I did the hibiscuses on this one too. Just at a bigger scale. All right, so then if you want to, let's see, we can just pull a stem in from anywhere and just pull it in right here. If you want to, if not, it really doesn't matter. And then sometimes I'll go through, and if I'm gonna do like a flower, like a more floral design than a leaf design, I'll, like, in place of this leaf, say for example, I'll pick 3 spots. Once I get my Y drawn out, I'll pick 3 spots where I want my flower. And so I'll say flower here, flower here, flower here. So, but there's that. Right. Okay, this right here is the leaf design right here. And then we added just a little flower down here just as something different. But that's the same basic design as that you see here on this one right there. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed watching the video today. I had a lot of fun doing this pumpkin and doing the video. If you want to learn more about my luminaries, I'm on Instagram at Tagawa Art. And I hope that these inspire you to create your own awesome pumpkin luminaries. They're a lot of fun, and we can't wait to see some pictures.
Thank you so much, Dawn, for this tutorial, and we definitely hope that you all at home will create your own luminary pumpkins. And please send in your photos of your finished work. Send them in to info@randolphartsguild.com. Subject title Luminary Pumpkins. We're going to create an online gallery and display your work for the public to see. Also, if you want to check out more of Dawn's work, we currently have it for sale here at our Moorings Fine Arts and Crafts Shop, as well as Vintage Cottage and Brightside Gallery. Thanks a lot.